Yes.
So is there any minute? I think what here is that, is there any minute directing this officer that he, the Director General, has granted approval to that effect? Because it should be contained in the file where they will say this application, or on the application, or maybe it's in the form of a transaction slip, say to Manager X or Senior Officer X, please grant. Is there any evidence to that effect in this file?
Chair, it is not seen here, but to be very all these minutes or letters are as a result of the approved draft sent to the Director General. Most of the time, the drafts are kept by the action officer. If you send a draft, you send it to the Director General through the directors. Then when he approves, okay, proceed, sign, whatever, finalize the report.
Yes, but correct to say that it is the technical officer that gives the Director General advice what he is asking him to do.
You mean the technical?
I said, is it not the officer actioning the particular that will give his technical expertise and advice to the Director General to either okay or not to okay the application? Thank you. Council, you may proceed.
What position does Buba Jata hold in your office?
Presently, Buba Jata is the Policy and Operation Officer.
So he also approves of the DG?
Yes, Council.
Does that mean there will be written documentation to actually permission or authority to sign on behalf of the DG?
Yes, the draft must have been Director General.
So where will we find that would that be?
In the minutes, no. Most of the time, the file contains final decisions, final letters, etc. Most of the times they are contained by, kept by the action officers, but most of the time, sometimes they are difficult to access. But actually, this is the practice. But the drafts, I cannot remember letters leaving GPA without the Director General or whoever is acting on his behalf in case he travels.
Now, but then in this particular procurement, you will agree that you've already agreed that the method used that was being approved was not really proper, that it shouldn't have been approved.
Yes, that's why it's just bit my imagination. That's why I was constantly.
When you say your imagination?
Yes, because normally before we approve the procurement methods, checklist that we always consider, and one of it is that reporting form 002. And that reporting form contains the justification. So I'm surprised that
That's what I'm saying. Well, you don't have to be surprised, because for most of the files, either there is no justification, and all these forms, they are not being adhered to. We see that GPA is granting approval. So why are you surprised? It's not a one-off?
Yeah, from my testimony, I think this is the first experience.
No, this is not the first experience. And then I've already laid out the ground rule that it will practice that all these procurement organizations, they don't really comply with these forms, do they? You have seen that in the post reviews and in these files as well. And then, no, it's not okay. You either agree or you don't agree. That is the nature of the deliberations. So, do you agree with that? Do they comply with these forms? We see in the post reviews when we were discussing, you and I were discussing. So time and again we see they don't comply with this.
We agree, Council.
Exactly. So I'm just saying that you don't have to be surprised. My point is, at the level of the authority, you are not strictly adhering to the rules and the regulations in either approving or not approving actions. It appears as if there is a very cohesive relationship between you and the procurements. Hence, they have been easily bypassing all these requirements. Is that not the case?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you meant.
What I meant is,
however, we have seen instances, series of instances, violations, non-compliance. I think that the writings are clear on the.
So proceed with the minutes of the conduct. That's why I am saying this. When there was either an objection or some kind of a comment from one of the members who attended the saying that they need to communicate with GPA. Tell us the response.
Minutes dated what?
You were reading the minutes of the contrast committee until I stopped. Let's take a pause. The minutes of the contrast committee. The one I had referred you to, the one I had showed you. The one you had in.
Okay.
The second page.
Second page, yes. Council. The second paragraph, second page, the deputy mayor raised a concern that if GPPA would allow council to purchase a new vehicle for the Lord Mayor without agreeing to dispose of the present vehicle.
Yes. And then what was the response? CEO, I believe?
The CEO then responded saying that GPPA has no say in that regard.
Exactly. What do you understand by that paragraph or that statement from the CEO?
Trying to collate the two paragraphs.
Yes.
The deputy mayor was whether we can approve without disposing current vehicle, and the CEO is saying that is not go GPPA. So I think that's what they are trying to.
What do you understand?
However, disposal of is at the discretion of the procuring organizations once they are fit for. However, once you intend to dispose, the good is you submit it to GPA for our approval.
What they are saying, in essence, is that what they intend to procure is none of your business. In short, I don't know why you. No, that's what the CEO is saying. That the procuring of a vehicle for 3 million without first following required procedure has nothing.
Okay, I have a different understanding, sincerely, because the concern raised by that's my understanding, please.
The different mayor is saying that whether GPPA will allow the procuring of a vehicle without first disposing another vehicle.
Yes.
Now, we are not concerned about whether the disposal of a particular vehicle is a requirement or a precondition to another vehicle. We are not discussing that.
All right.
What we are discussing is the CEO's statement saying that they decide, not you, as to what they want to procure, how they want to go about it.
Accepted.
Exactly. So now that is why I mean that from the level of the CEO, the CEO's understanding, everything becomes a formality when they are dealing with you. That's it. Because you can tell they do not follow procedure, and yet still the procurement is being granted.
Okay.
So you see how procuring organizations do not really respect the procuring authority. See the implications now?
Yes, Council.
Exactly. So now, let me give you this file. It has no number, I believe, but then it's the procurement of about 3,000 dustbins for $13,800,000. Just look at it for a second. How there is an inconsistency in relation to have a particular method.
Okay, Council.
Now, 10th January 19, there seemed to be an application for the use of risk. Do you see it? January.
Yes, Council.
Yes. What is about?
Is application for the tender for dustbins.
Very well. Now, the content of the application.
Please find attached board document and form 002 question. Because of the exigency, potential health hazards associated with the lack of bins, we are appealing for the bid period 15 days.
What is form 002?
00 reporting form for restricted tender.
Can you find the form to the letter?
You have seen the form?
Yes, and what is the justification, if any, for the use of the current method? Is it there?
No,
It is not there.
it's not there.
Good. Now, for that application, there is no justification for the use of restricted tendering. Is that not correct?
Yes, it is captured in the minutes.
Yes, please refer to the minutes. It was the date of the minutes and refer to tell us where, if
I said I am not sure
That's what I'm
because the
saying, if
minutes
any.
are provided and sometimes are captured in minutes.
that's what I'm saying. If any, if it is there, you refer it to us, to that part.
Sorry, Council, can I just interject for a
Yes.
second?
Yes.
You have seen the 002 for the vehicle. Yes. It's
Okay. Please
maybe
tell
we are
us.
just crossing, yes. For the vehicle. That's,
Yes. What is there any justification?
yeah, the justification here, they said there are no too many vehicle dealers.
There are
No too many dealers.
no two.
Many dealers.
What does that mean?
Is they are limited.
And then, do they give you a number?
The number no.
No, the number of the known. The idea is
Yes.
justification. Is that a sufficient justification?
No. Well, that's the
They provided.
Yes,
Is it sufficient first before I ask any further follow-up question? Going by that alone, is it sufficient to grant a method which is let's say RT, restricted tendering form of?
The law is short, but the law indicates that it should be dealers known to the.
Exactly. They are not telling you known to you. They are telling you dealers that are not known to them. In fact, we don't have too many dealers. They are not giving you information regarding the dealers that are dealing in this particular business. Is that
okay, Council?
No, not okay. Just assume that it has to be right, and then you have to.
May I comment here?
No, let me learn. Don't have to agree, Mr. Tambura.
Yeah, okay.
Let me get to agree, and don't feel being on any form of me. But I will still put my thoughts or my opinions to you. Feel free to react, because we are trying to aid the commissioners in having a better understanding. I repeat, is that I first asked the question: does that suffice for using restricted tender?
Yes. Do you know here?
Is your answer yes?
That's what I'm saying here.
Is your answer
yes? Yes, that's my answer.
Okay, please proceed.
Because our understanding here, dealers, the registered vehicle dealers are limited in the country. If you check the act properly, the 2022 act, I think the restricted tender, I think it's section 44.
Yes.
Can we please 2014 amended 2018?
Sorry.
Can we deal with 2014 amended in 2018?
Okay. The other time I was making report, Honorable Chair, one of the Honorable Commissioners said I should not make reference to that. So,
yes, because
yes,
we are giving time frame. So whatever we are doing is the context of the time frame we are looking at.
Yeah, that was
yes, but this is the flow. You are right.
Yes.
2022.
Yes.
You can go ahead.
Yes. If you check at the current act, I think section 44, dealing with restricted, it indicates that when you are dealing with restricted tender, the institution, organization, let's say in this case BCC, should establish the pre-qualification, that they should have a list of the vehicle dealers. And the in the country are almost known to almost everybody. Like I don't know, and that list should be with the institution here. Let's say BCC in this. So, and that list is limited by nature, the number.
Now, before you proceed, let us refer again a letter dated the 4th of October. They have addressed there are 5 companies. In your opinion, limited or is not unlimited? How do you classify 5 dealers that are registered and are in this country? Remember, they said the people that deal with this kind of cars are very limited. So I want you to taking into consideration what is contained in the letter dated the 4th of October.
Yes. If you check, there are not many, and our understanding at the time was they are limited.
Yes.
But should be known to you, yes, those limited potential suppliers.
But that is why, Mr. I said, when you were giving your approval, didn't you check the content of the report and, you understand, their minutes? This is why I asked that question, because it's very fundamental.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Because they told you that the companies that can provide, you understand, this particular good that they wanted,
yes,
is very.
Yes.
And in the letter dated the 4th, they have given you a list of people that can produce, that can provide for that particular good in the country. Yes. So,
the understanding is that list should be established by the institution. Yeah. According to the law, like once you are able to, if the suffice.
But by that list, I stand to be corrected.
Okay.
Are supposed to be registered in, entities, and this information should be with you. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And sorry, Council, before you proceed, I am at a difficulty in the document, the letter conveying your approval. The letter dated the 5th of November 2018, you approval for an amount of 4,020,020 and a letter dated the 11th of December 2018 submitting to you for approval again an amount of 3,450,000. And what they gave as a reason was that there was a successful negotiation which reduced the amount to 575,000. Now my question to you, Mr. Tambura, is when do you give final approval for a contract? Because the submission of the letter dated the 5th of November 2018 by your institution, you have conveyed approval for a contract sum of 4,025,000. And they wrote to you again on the 11th of December. So I have a difficulty in, or you should explain to me when those negotiations and when do you now consider, you understand, the conclusions of on the negotiation, how is it reflected and when it should be conveyed to you to have an informed decision to convey approval?
Okay, councils, procurement, and depending on the prevailing circumstances at the time, can take place at different stages. But for issues of helping us to give final approval, most of the time we allow them to conduct negotiation if submissions are made, especially the evaluation report. And there are issues, most of the time we don't give automatic approval. If we see the need for negotiation, we write back, ask them to negotiate.
No, maybe you didn't
understand. Okay. That's what.
Negotiate.
This can be done before our approval, can also be done after our approval. But it's done after our approval. All the minutes of negotiation must be communicated so that there is consistency between our records and
this is exactly why I'm asking you the question, because you have conveyed, you understand, approval for a contract sum which is certain, it is 4,025,000.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And only dated the 11th December and told that they have interested in reducing that 4 million to 3,450,000. Now, since you have given that evidence, where is the information that they negotiated and this is what? Did they give you that information? You said negotiation can be prior to your approval and post to your approval. When it's post, is qualified. So, the meet the requirements of the qualification in this instance?
Yeah, because the letter I'm to confirm, but the letter we saw here is just exactly what you have said. And if you check the minutes of the Director General then, all he minted was acknowledge and congratulate them. And that's the communication from the Director General then.
So that to you is approval, right? That minute, is that approval?
Yeah, because here already there was an initial approval already. They've gone extra mile to and bring down the price. I'm sure that must have triggered this. Let's acknowledge.
But you have told us that post negotiation
Can happen.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it provided for in your rules?
Yes.
Do you refer out to the rules?
Like it must be in the regulation.
Yeah, that is what I mean.
Yeah.
Yes, can you refer us to that, please?
Yeah. To remember the exact place, but I can always confirm and then.
When we come back after lunch, we refer me to the rules.
Okay.
We talks about post, and you have also, there is a qualification. If negotiation is done post.
Yes.
What is the qualification?
Communicated to the authority.
So was that communicated to the authority?
Yeah, that's this one, this letter here.
Yes.
That's why the DG, then DG, minute as let's please acknowledge and congratulate
But
them.
you have told that how they arrived at the negotiation to allow for a situation where there will be no inconsistency. What do you mean by that?
No, normally, the initial approval we gave, the amounts are recorded in our database.
Yes.
So let's say if the amount is 4 million and thereafter negotiations are conducted and it brings the amount to 10. If that communication is not done or sent to our office, we didn't have the same figures. So if negotiations are done brought to 3.5 million, then the officially captured in our database will be changed from 4 to 3.5 consistency.
Yes, my issue here is that how do you ascertain there is fair play in this circumstance? Because if it is communicate simplicity, that is very easy.
I understand your
can
point.
agree million and come back and tell you is 2 million. Simplicity, so it's like write you this letter, dated a similar letter like the 1 of December, you are okay. You will approve.
I get your point, Chair. Actually,
yeah,
we cannot ascertain.
So this is the problem.
I get your point there.
Thank you. Council, can you please proceed?
Now, to the second file, there's a letter dated the 3rd of January.
Yes.
That letter about?
With of the vehicle?
We haven't still finished. I am just doing a comparison between the approval with respect to the procurement of the vehicles and the initially not granted for the procurement of 3,000 dustbins. Yes.
Thank you. Noted.
So that letter is about the application for the use of restricted tender, right? For the purchase of 3,000 vehicle. That's not correct.
Correct.
Now, that letter seems to kind of not grant approval.
Correct.
Can you please? The approval was not granted initially.
Now, when the submission was reviewed, some observations as follows. 1, was no standard bidding document, and 2, the justification for the use of restricted tendering in clause of GPPA form 002 clear.
So in that there was no approval initially on grounds that there was no justification for the use of the procurement method.
Correct.
But the same justification was not present for the purchase of the vehicle yesterday. Is that not correct?
Is correct, but the other clarification that I wanted to make is In vehicle procurement at that time, all suppliers registered with GPPA, owned by GPPA as well as suppliers. And law, if suppliers are limited and they are known to you.
You who? Who is the you the law is referring to?
The organization.
Exactly.
Known to them.
Yes.
And in this case, all the supply them, those registered at that time.
Yes.
So at our level at GPPA, there are instances that institutions may, even when it comes to vehicle procurement, to use restricted tender. And in the instances, suppliers may opt to use restricted tender. We disapprove because the suppliers are not known to them, or they are not limited to, they are not to a number. So in this case, as far as vehicles are concerned, it's been restricted tender throughout. I am not saying that the documentation and the like are all correct, but this has been the norm when it comes to vehicle procurement.
I think that there is any classification as to whether procurement has to be for vehicles or for dustbins, and so they are known to GPPA. Mr. Sayang, is that a requirement? Is there a requirement that GPPA must know these suppliers, a list of known suppliers who deal in vehicles in the...
Yes, because all suppliers are registered with GPPA. No. So it can come with a justification that the suppliers are known to us will vary.
Tell me, we are in 2023. How many suppliers do we have who deal in vehicles? You have a list of the ones that are known to you that only deal in with 2023?
I cannot remember, but if I refer to the list suppliers, I will tell you the suppliers who are registered with GPP.
That will remain to be your opinion that these people only deal in vehicles. My point is, you don't have a procedure in your office that will classify the suppliers that deals with only vehicles, because you don't deal with.
Council will register any potential supplier on anything is registered with the authority.
That is a requirement.
Yes.
Your powers or job is to make sure that all suppliers that have to deal with procurations are registered with you. It's not a requirement.
Correct.
But that's probably where you stop. The law does not mandate you at any given time to have of suppliers that are known to you that only deal with vehicles. Your business of the as far as you're concerned is to have suppliers who want to deal with procurement organizations to raise as simple as that. So you don't come here and try to tell us that suppliers that they are dealing with are known to you. It's of no issue.
But maybe there is a misunderstanding now, the way you are taking it from. But for all is, as far as our act is concerned,
yes,
when of anything are limited and they are known to you, you can use who can justify.
See, listen, let's not get this. The law is saying they are known to you, and who is it referring to? Is it the authority or?
It's referring to the procuring organization.
And not the authority.
And in this case, the authority with a justification that these are the list and we have the list to verify.
Can we get this one step at a time?
Okay.
Now, first, the law is you want to use the preference is open tender.
Correct.
The methods like RFQ, or you can use restricted tender,
yes.
Unless and until the suppliers are known to you and they are limited.
Correct.
If you have made that threshold, you can use that formula.
Correct.
And the law is it has to be organization.
Correct.
It did not say it has to be known to the authority.
Correct.
But the list of all suppliers generally who wants to deal with procurement organizations. Exactly. My point is, if a particular application disclose the fact that let's say, for example, procuring organization wants to purchase dustbins or vehicles in this, and they don't disclose to you through these forms that the suppliers that they want to deal with, to them, it does not matter whether they are known to the entire country, they are known to them, and therefore they want them. If they don't disclose that, are you saying the mere fact that you know that the suppliers are known to you, GPPA, that alone will suffice?
Council, that is why I said at the beginning that
is that
I
your
have
question?
no documentation is correct. But when it comes to vehicle procurement, we always choose to use restricted tender, whether it is requested.
Mr. Sanya, I just answered. It's as simple as that. I understood you well. Over and over again. What you were trying to do is to say that even the requirements, but then the suppliers are known to the authority. I am trying to tell you that. Because there's no requirement for the suppliers to be known to the authority.
I think there is a misunderstanding here.
Now,
because whether they are known to the authority, the request is coming from them.
Exactly.
And they will use a justification. They will want the suppliers are known to be verified by GPPA. Because when they say that suppliers are known to them, then GPPA have a list of requests to verify that.
Exactly. So what was the relevance of you telling us that suppliers are known to the authority when we are dealing with the fact that the suppliers, they do not provide evidence of the suppliers being known to the organization? That's what we are dealing with. Do you see the point?
Well, let's proceed.
Now.
Yeah, sorry, before we, who decides or who qualifies the limited nature of suppliers? Because I can have 10 and decide to say that there could be 10 suppliers. I had to write to you and say that I want restricted tender because the suppliers in this domain are very few. So who determines limitation?
That is why I am putting to the council that they will.
Wait, listen. Please, sorry. You cannot put to the council.
Okay.
To the council. It is the council, it is the other way around. It is the council that will put to you.
Sorry, maybe.
Right. So now, who determines limitation?
They will, the CPA will approve or this
So
verify.
when they decide that something of a limited nature, do you counter check, cross check what they said is true or false?
Yes, normally we check.
It is based on your justification that what they said is the time you approve, right?
It's based on their justification and application that.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. We are saying the same thing. So it's based on to ascertain their justification.
Exactly.
That gives you the authority, right?
Correct.
Yes, but that's where council is going to. That is what exactly council, right? Thank you.
In fact, it is. You don't conduct market surveys, do you?
No.
And market survey is the basis of outlining known to a procurement organization. Is that not the case?
Well, no, but we also do our own market for various procurement, but then for our own records.
Then why do you answer no?
I answered no because we don't conduct market surveys for specific procurement for various institutions.
I am asking for specific procurements. You know, I'm asking. I don't know why you are trying to give us two different answers. I mean, don't do that.
Council, excuse me. Maybe it's because how do we determine prices before we approve? We have to find out what prevails in the.
See, you said no. I asked you a question. You said no. And you are saying maybe you don't do it based on specific procurement. You don't do it based on specific procurement. You don't have a market survey. Can you? If I ask you to put a market survey for 2023, will you be able to do that? You will not be able to do that. So let's try to speak on facts, established facts already. Now, with respect to the vehicle, so who won the bid? Who was awarded the contract?
CFA.
But then that file, the last letter on the file indicates that at some road to CFAO, and I believe outlining the fact that the vehicle was not delivered.
Date of the letter, Council.
Yes, look up January and see whether.
Yes. There is a double supersede that date. That is to say, there is a date underneath which also says the 2nd of January. So you know whether it's the 10th of January or the 2nd of January. This is a letter coming from Banjul City Council, 2019. That is the council is referring to, which did indicate that they paid a 1.3 million, 1,380,000.
Yes. That is what. Do you see it? 10th January 2019. It is addressed to the General Sales CFAO.
10 January. Okay, 10 January. The contract for the supply of one SUV.
Yeah.
It is approximately 3 weeks since our two institutions start for the delivery of the above vehicle. Above mentioned vehicle has still not been delivered to the council as inquiry made. You cited technical from the GRA since the vehicle was duty free. However, we have paid your institution the 40%, which equals to 1,380,000 down payment condition. We look forward to hearing from you.
That seems to be the last correspondence.
Yes,
from.
and it was addressed to the General CFAO, and the Director General GPA is also copied.
Yes, that seems to be the launch from BCC regarding the vehicle that was purchased or where there was approval granted to purchase the vehicle.
Yes, Council.
What mark is it? What is the model? Is it Prado?
Toyota Prado.
It seems to be the Gambian problem. But then, unless the commissioners have any questions on that, we will move to the issue regarding the dustbins.
Yes, before we move to the issue of the dustbin, I have issue with the dates approvals are sought. The letter dated the 6th of September.
From the BCC or?
Yes, from the same vehicle.
6th September.
6th of September, the request for the approval of the procurement method.
Yes.
And when was granted?
Yes, 6th September, yes.
Yes.
That's the restricted tender, yes. Approval granted.
Approval was granted on the 3rd of October.
Yes, 3rd October.
Yes, on the 4th of October, they wrote giving you the reason why they wanted to procure this vehicle.
Let me see. 4th October, okay.
Yes. Did you see that?
Yes, I have seen the letter dated 4th October.
Yes. And it is in that same letter that they have addressed the fact that they opened the bids on the 19th of October 20.
Yes, Chair.
So, yes.
Sorry, dated 4 October from
Yes.
BCC.
Yes.
It's not addressed to GPPA. It's addressed
Okay,
to the
this is
potential,
addressed to the
potential dealers.
who were copied, right? GPPA was copied. That is why I copied.
No, Chair.
Yes, it's copied to you, Director General GPPA.
Yes, yes. Highlight it.
Yes.
Exactly so.
So, which means they were giving, they gave to the suppliers and they give you a different information.
Yes, going by the content of the letters.
Yes, and the letters we have reviewed.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, Chair.
So, would that not have been the basis of really looking at this properly to see what is the true condition of... Yes. My question is, are you listening to me?
Yes, yes.
The thing is that would this not have been a basis for you to and ask them to put their house in order?
Yes, Chair. As you rightly said, it is a red flag. Rang a bell.
Yes, because this is council said they to inform you, but they are not lending any credence or authority. Is that not correct?
Yes, maybe this letter came at the time when the initial approval was but notwithstanding, as you said, after receiving this, rang a bell.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Finance, do you have? And okay, the last question. Sorry, before I have us, did you ask any questions as to what to negotiate after the selected supplier was given an offer letter? Why they did not to get the price down? Did you ask the question?
No, Chair.
Don't you think you needed to ask them whether, for them or otherwise, whether they have negotiated the price?
In this case, we did not, what normally we do, generally.
So what they wrote to you, complaining about the fact that did not made as per the contract document. But in any case, in that, is that the final contract document between the people, which is BCC and the company? Because they need reference to them breaching any provision of the contract they might have signed. According to Sanyang said, when they signed these contracts, send you the copy.
Yes, in fact, that's what we always let contracts document be submitted to our office for, so that to due diligence, just to confirm that what is approved is actually what is on the ground. In this particular case, it was absent totally.
Contract document
Submitted here to us.
So in other words, you can the letter dated the 11th of December, this contract price, because there is no other date document showing you any contractual transaction between BCC and CFAO.
Yes, Chair, except if we go for post-review to verify.
So, but is it okay for you to leave these transactions hanging, knowing whether the transactions were concluded?
Yeah. In fact, it's because of this the current regulation has adequately addressed this. Now, even the contract document will be submitted to GPPA for approval now, because this has at our level.
So, in this instance, was this car delivered?
Yeah, we cannot say for sure.
And you did not follow up to find out whether the was actually concluded?
no records here to indicate that.
Council? Commissioners, do you have any questions?
The we see the contract awarded to Keba and Sons. It is about $13,800,000. Do you know supplier, Mr. Sayang? Do you know the supplier, Keba and Sons?
No.
Sayang, you should know. You said these are suppliers that you already told me that you know all the suppliers that are registered.
Now, when I say known to them, we have records of them. Some of them we've never seen before, but in records, yes, the
Exactly.
must be in our records.
Yes. So, please see the letter dated the 24th of January 2019.
24th January. From
where GPPA granted approval.
no record. No, this is 29th.
Or the 24th December 2018, whichever you see first, we can deal with it.
What is January?
Appears as if you will see most of the letters in the front, in the photocopying.
Council, I a letter dated 24th of December 2018 from Banjul City Council to the GPPA.
Okay, that is for the request. Please tell us the request from BCC to your office.
Restricted tender, dustbins.
Yes.
We request for your procurement method and bidding document.
Yes.
For the emergency of dustbins. We are also requesting to shorten the bidding days because of the emergency garbage situation and that of section 45(1)B PA Act.
Now, here they are applying have a particular method of procurement granted. Is that not correct?
Correct.
Which is?
Restricted tender.
Yes. So which probably will suggest that the suppliers are known to them.
That's one of the conditions.
The other one is?
Use of restricted tender.
The other one is?
Conditions for the use of restricted suppliers.
Okay, let me just help. Of course, there are different conditions.
Yes.
One, limited and known to the supplier.
Yes.
Specialized nature of equipment or goods. One, readily available or within the thresholds. Yeah, all these are for the use of restricted.
So which of the conditions did they meet in this application? Did they provide any or did they meet any of?
002 minutes of the Controls Committee.
Yes, please. You can check the minutes of the Contracts Committee meeting of the 24th December. It should be probably be the same attachment, because it is either in the minute or the form 002. Is there anything in the minutes?
He's confirming from the minutes, please.
First, do you see the minutes first? Are there any reasons as to why they want to use the tender method? Maybe you don't bother yourself much because there's no justification in the minutes. Yeah, so that it only makes sense because you wrote to them on the 3rd day of January 2019, where you kind of refused to approve the application on the 3rd. Do you see the letter?
Yeah.
What was the reason behind not approving the application?
2 reasons. One, the standard bidding document was not, and 2, justification for the use of restricted tendering clause A2 of GPPA Form 002 in line with those conditions.
So we will come back to the reason why we are discussing this. Let me just give you is that, like I indicated earlier, it appears as if the procuring organizations will use the law to their own advantage, and then the fact that there is no strict adherence to regulations by GPPA. And so these are the same suppliers they deal with, same individuals that are known to them, and it's just business as usual. So it's, all of these are only formalities, because if you see, for example, Anson seems to really have a lot of dealings with BCC. Is that not correct to say? The Tambora, is that not the case?
Yes.
And in this particular procurement, you will see there is some serious flouting of the rules, but it ends up with Keba and Sons. Understand? So it only raised some kind of eyebrows. So, but then let's now. First, it was refused because there are no justifications for restricting the bidders.
Correct. Yes.
Then, subsequently, it was approved, was it not?
He's confirming.
Council.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Chamora, looking at the provision of the law, talks about the conditions for use of restricted tender. Would I that selectively the POs use only section 39 sub A and discountenance B and O? They use A and say the works, consultancy services or services are only available for limited number of bidders known to the procuring authority. And we see this, Mr. Sanya. Is this how it should be done? Current law says. So you will just pick up of the conditions and say that is it, and you hold on to that?
Chair, our understanding since the inception of the author, if any of the conditions is met, you adopt a particular procurement method. But notwithstanding, then we have seen the trend, and normally if these are trends, this is what we call red flags in procurement. If you see trends that are to explain, even though there are justification for the trend, but as a regulatory body, it's definitely.
That is exactly why I'm asking the question.
I understand.
Yes.
Check the letter dated the 29th of January 2019.
29th January.
2019.
Okay.
Do you see it? Now that seems to be the approval, the subsequent approval.
Yeah.
Now, you said your submissions and the request for approval of your bidding document, the procurement method, and shortening the bid to 15 days is herewith approved by the authority. We are glad observation for the recruitment of a procurement official is being implemented. Now, the procurement of the 3,000 dustbins at an amount of which one procured an amount of $13,800,000. But then concerns regarding the justification for the use of this was not really met or put by by BCC. I did aware in the file wherein the concerns you've raised why you cannot approve the use of a particular method. So you subsequently approved of RT without in any way CC provide you with justification as to why they want to use, or do you see that in any of the forms subsequently?
Yes. Sorry, he's just trying to confirm.
Yes. Because if you see 002,
if you see form 002, yes. Yes, I have seen two different form 002s. Yes.
Sufficient justification as to why they want to adopt restricted tender method.
Actually, on the second one, if you look at
page 1,
A2,
yes,
provide just the use of restricted tendering, making reference to conditions under section 30 PPA 2014 satisfied. Under it, you have few quality and a lines suppliers, eminent health hazard associated with littering, most homes in no bins, and trash is kept in nylons and other inappropriate containers.
Is that sufficient?
And the question is whether it is in line with
Yes.
any of the provisions of the use of restricted tender.
Good. Thank you. And then, but then, still now it is approved on the pursuant to the letter dated the 29th of January. Is that not correct?
Correct.
Now, no justification, but BCC still should have an open tender. So they want to deal with yes. What are the implications of that? What are the implications? There are no justifications. You see clearly that they only identify some few suppliers they want to deal with. Mr. Laughing. Why are you laughing?
It's okay. It's okay.
Come in.
Okay, the justifications.
What are the implications?
Sorry, the implication.
Can you repeat the question so that you
Yes.
can get it properly?
No justification for the use of this particular method, restricted, where they will only deal with few suppliers. But we know they would have an earmark. Generally, would have an earmark also identified that they will deal with. So, what would be the implication when they don't follow procedure, they do not meet up with the criteria, but they are still adopting a particular procedure to deal with few suppliers.
Yes, Council. The first instance, the fact that the condition for the use of restricted tender was not satisfied, in the first wouldn't have been an approval. For that procurement.
Yes.
Nonetheless, approval is given, and the therefore would be that it is limited in nature. But I wouldn't want to speculate.
On what? What to speculate on?
No, speculate whether there was a particular target.
Yes. Why would you speculate? Is that a possibility that you don't want to? Is it a possibility?
I will really expand, but what I'm saying, why I don't want to speculate is because I don't have ground. I cannot substantiate.
No, the implications are not specific to this particular procurement. The implications of not following procedure are general. Okay. If you don't follow procedure of a particular procurement method, there are implications therein, ground rules. So when I say it is open for corruption or corrupt, I have no evidence as well right now as to whether the person awarded the contract was in fact being favored or not. But there's something wrong with the procedure, then there are implications therein. In the expert, what are the implications?
I understand. I thought you were very specific to this particular.
No worry. If I want to be specific, I will be very much specific about this. I have no worries regarding that. Yeah, so okay. Tell me.
Okay. Here, first, there are serious red flags for misprocurement.
Yes.
The justification is not provided, and of course, it is an anomaly. Misprocurement is prone to corruption, of course. It's prone to corruption because there may not be adequate checks. Once there are no adequate checks, of course, it is prone to misuse, etc.
And
yes,
so,
before you proceed, that's not the reason why in your letter dated the 8th of January at paragraphs 2, the stop, listen, how to call it, notes on the paragraph, the last sentence of reads, you are therefore obliged to provide the following documents to authority to make a final decision on your request. It's bidding documents for goods, that they should provide that, a detailed justification of restricted tender in clause A2 of A form 002, particularly for the second one, which says must provide a detailed justification.
Yes, Chair, that's our initial observation. Unfortunately, it wasn't addressed.
Thank you. Yes. Yes, you can.
So now, those are the implications. Yet still, the contract is being awarded, and so it was awarded to one Keba and Sons. Is that correct? Do you see it?
Yes.
And what is the amount?
13,800,000.
13 million.
800,000.
How many bidders bidding for this particular procurement?
Bidders have to refer to the standard.
You cannot see it. I think this is a convenient point to stop. You will come back and it will give you time. Please check for the regulation that I have noted it. When we come back after prayers and lunch, we can proceed, and it will allow Sanyan to check on the information on the files.
So these are the guys invited.
Okay.